Fire Emblem Engage is the highly anticipated title in the popular Tactics series. It stars the epic main character, Visas Starfrost 5 from the Yu-Gi-Oh series, and the female version of said character. Nani? Alright. I personally have been looking forward to this game, not because of that, but due to the fact that there hasn't been a new Fire Emblem game in the last 3 years. I've been a fan since Fates, which, ignore that, but I'm a fan of tactic games in general, my introduction to it being a Yu-Gi-Oh game of all things, so I latched onto these games pretty quickly. Three Houses was a game that I really liked, but if you played it, you knew it wasn't perfect. And fortunately, this game looks to be refining upon some of the stuff that Three Houses was iffy on. What obviously catches my eye is the visuals, since Three Houses wasn't really known for its visuals, to be honest. It has its own monastery-like area that has fishing, like Three Houses, but also a
rhythm exercise game where you go piece of toothpaste, just push-ups and squats.
And the
going ship from Kingdom Hearts.
Except with a wyvern. Now you might be thinking, is this an objective opinion? No, I'm just pretty excited. But yeah, unlike my last videos, this won't be objective with facts or anything like that. This game hasn't released yet, so it could be the best thing ever, or it could be bland garbage like Sword and Shield. So essentially, y'all just be gushing about a game I'm looking forward to. So, yeah, let's get into it. Engage looks to add a lot to the gameplay, which I appreciate since each new game tries to add something interesting to really spin the gameplay, this being with the Emblem Rings, the main gameplay feature. The idea of these is to bring the old characters in to add abilities and a weapon to your characters, and also if you want them to look so freaking cool. Now everyone can look like Brave Seth. Oh yes, even Big Chungus could look like him if they allow it, but what I find most intriguing is the break mechanic. Essentially, you turn off that unit's ability to counterattack if you attack with a weapon triangle advantage, i.e., you attack as if you were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters Coliseum. If you ask me, player phase Fire Emblem is often more fun for me. Enemy phase strats often rely on you plonking a unit in place and taking on an army. They're strats that the easiest Fire Emblems have enabled very well easily, but player phase heavy based games are often more difficult to strategize, especially in the hardest games. The best of both worlds is making both viable, but making sure that each have methods to counteract them fairly. It's pretty obvious that developing something like this is very difficult, and has to consider making a multitude of various strategies viable while also making sure that they are not too easy or too difficult. I do like that recent games have given options to enable both strategies though, such as Three Houses with the absolutely wild strats using Stride or defense adjutant strats, or in Fates where you have access to dual strikes so that you can go very aggressive or pair up respectively. Both of these games are balanced towards this in my opinion. More so Fate's Conquest, with the hard mode giving good reason to use both for a map like Chapter 10, the best designed map in the game for. But getting back on track, while you can say that the break mechanic hurts enemy phase strats a lot, consider that enemy diversity is often split into areas, meaning that it's pretty likely that sending something like a sword unit will be in range of maybe 1 or 2 enemy types, say sword and axe units. This game does make me wonder though, just how powerful will the enemies be? But I do have faith that they can make a challenging adventure out of this, considering that Conquest, a game with very powerful options, is actually one of the harder games of the series. The game has a skill system similar to Heroes, where you can spend SP to unlock skills. I don't believe we know yet if the gacha system plays any part in the gathering of skills, or if it's tied to something like a skill tree. However, from what I can gather off the gacha system, it's more so for power-ups. Perhaps something like a simple stat booster for when you have your emblem on. Plus, I doubt that progression is tied to it. So, is it a bad addition? Probably not. I don't really mind these kinds of systems, provided they don't have a major effect in the game. It's why I'm not a very big fan of Hero's summoning system, because being able to progress in important modes like Ether Raids is tied to summoning, and that's not very fun. Now what about those epic mini-games? Well, I'm gonna be honest here, I don't see why not. If you ask me, the addition of the fishing in Three Houses was actually pretty good. So where's the harm in a little bit of side content? In Pokemon Sun and Moon, my favorite thing, unironically, was the inverse type matchups minigame in the Festival Plaza. Yes, that. And I kind of liked doing it as fast as possible because there was just a timer on it, and you might be thinking, why inverse type matchup specifically? Well, the default's the normal type, which has no advantages, but in inverse it actually does. It's good against 3 types, so it actually makes it more enjoyable, at least in my opinion. And why try to speedrun it? Well, it keeps a record of your score, and I don't know, I kind of find that fun. Just imagine if the Wyvern riding minigame had a time and a score. You best know I'd be trying to hardcore speedrun that stuff. Plus, rhythm-based exercise minigame. Do I even need to say why that sounds absolutely hilarious in a series like this? I guess considering that Faye put in a rhythm game, and even just some of the other additions, like weird units, like a laser shooting cow that was a main character for a book, and yes, non-Faye players, that was a real thing that happened. Don't worry about that, it's not important. Though she was best girl, which was kind of funny. But then you have character designs, and some people feeling that there's a bit too much going on. I mean, how do I play with the weirdest back sprite in the game? And, well, I get that sentiment, so let's talk about it. I get feeling whiplash. Farm designs may have been anime, sure, but they felt pretty grounded and believable. Nothing from the old Fire Emblem feels out of place, and even the more recent entries feel grounded. But then you see this! I mean, I don't think it's for everyone. Toothpaste Chat or Lear or however you want to refer to them, they have such a wacky design. I guess, for myself, I'm kind of already used to seeing wacky designs. I'm pretty into Yu-Gi-Oh! If Capsule Monsters wasn't able to tell you that. And well, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has steadily gotten some pretty nutty designs over time. Like, we started with Yugi, who I mean, is pretty well known for having a very bizarre design. But then you have the Vrains characters, who, well, you see, this is to go even further beyond. Like, you have this dude, you might think, oh, he has a pretty fancy design. He goes into VR. That's probably his VR self, right? Yeah, about that. That's actually his normal version. You can argue that his normal version looks more ridiculous than his VR version. And then there's Revolver or Barris. Well, you be the judge on telling me what is going on with his hair, because I don't know where to start. But I definitely get that not everyone has seen stuff like this. Those kinds of designs are not for everyone. And Fire Emblem has remained mostly grounded in its designs. Multicolored hair is usually very toned down. Prime example being Constance, who has actually got probably the best execution of something that would normally look pretty jarring here. But I really like a lot of the designs, personally. Some people have been saying that characters have same face syndrome, primarily the female characters. But I actually disagree. But you are completely entitled to that opinion. I won't stop you in that regard. But I mean, some of these designs are just plain awesome. What can I say? Prince Sylvain! I want to see more of this aesthetic. This is really cool. One strike on the side. On a side note, am I the only one who finds the Engaged Emblem's echo crit quotes the best kind of cringe? It is just too funny to me, and I don't know why. I need to go to the toilet. This is a normal dog. Don't worry about that. Whack Foo alert.
Whack Foo alert.
I am no longer Marth. I have ascended to a higher plane. I am Emblem Marth. And evil Marth? Okay, well, we have probably gotten evil toothpaste, and then the evil toothpaste will face the good one, just like the new cards that Konami announced. You know, maybe the dog was part of this the whole time, but instead of being turned into an android, it got turned into some weird dog thing. The game isn't out yet, and thus we can't really make any judgments on the game yet. Really, for most, I'd say just wait for the game to come out, wait a few days, and then draw a conclusion from what you see. It's pretty much that way for 99% of game releases, unless you know for certain you will like it. I know for sure that I will be getting it, since I'm a fan of the series and have liked everything that I have seen so far, and the game looks like it will be good, at least in my opinion. But what do you think? Feel free to pop in the comments and give your opinion. I don't think there's any necessarily right or wrong opinions to draw from currently. It'll mostly be seen once the game comes out. Also, if you have any critiques of the video itself, feel free to put it down too. Anyways, take care.